Hi, Marina. Thank you for sending in a set of essays to be corrected. It's an important step. I see that you need a 7 um, in order to get a job in the UK. So let's see what you wrote. Now, here's the thing. I see that the topic is about machines replacing humans. It really would have been helpful if you had actually included the task as it's written. This way I can kind of guide you as to how well you've answered the question and how well you've covered the task achievement part. Without that, it's just going to be an approximation because I'm not really sure how the question was phrased. So this puts me a little bit at a disadvantage. But that said, let's take a look at what you wrote. First thing I want to do is get rid of this comma. So, it is more common now that machines are used in the workplace instead of humans. However, there are some jobs that machines are not created to fulfill and they have to be carried out by human beings. All right, it's rather brief, but if I had to take a guess, I would say that the question is asking you, it's probably saying something like, nowadays more and more machines are taking over jobs, and some people think that they will take over all jobs in the future. To what extent do you agree or disagree? That's my guess based on what you wrote. If that's the question, then you've done a very nice job of answering it. But if the question was something else, then we have to address that. All right, so let's see how you continued. Every day, new technologies are created to ease people's lives to the extent that you don't need a comma here, to the extent that more machines are replacing humans in different occupations. For instance, here you do need a comma. More machines are replacing bank tellers in my, all right, now check it out. Here you really needed a semicolon. So in my country, there are complete branches that work solely with machines without a single human. New ventilators now have the option of choosing a mood and adjusting it to the patient height, weight, and condition without the need of an intensivist. I'm not even sure I know what an intensivist is. Some big airports, which, not who, are busy started electronic check-in, where a machine helps you to check in and check your bags without dealing with any humans. There's an S there too. So let me tell you now what the problem with this paragraph is, Marina. Here's the good news. You've got ideas and you've got examples. Unfortunately, examples is all you have. So there's not really much in terms of ideas, just examples. So what happens is it really just reads kind of like a bulleted list. So it's not a paragraph. What do I mean? I mean that here's your statement. More machines are replacing humans. And then, you've got number 1, number 2, and then number 3. But that's not the way a paragraph needs to be structured. Okay? There are certain elements that a well-structured, well-written paragraph needs to have. All right? It needs to have a topic sentence. It needs to have 1 or 2 main ideas, and each one of those ideas then needs to be supported by some sort of example, some sort of illustration, some sort of explanation. All right? Instead, what you did is you really just had a lot of examples here. Okay? So let's move on. Not only are machines helpful, they are also cheaper and more efficient. However, they cannot replace humans in all jobs. For instance, machines can help with depositing and withdrawing money, but they cannot give you, I don't know what happened here, financial advice or help clients acquire a loan. A ventilator can set a mood, but it could not get rid of this and, emotional support to a patient the way a human doctor can. Okay, so you're missing some parts of the sentence here. A machine can help you with checking in, but okay, remember, you have to make sure that these match because it's a machine, singular. It will not help with oversized luggage, and hence, human beings will never be substituted with robots or machines, and that is a fact. This was not really necessary, and that is a fact. Now, again, I like your ideas. I think it's great. And I like the way that you connected the same ideas to the previous paragraph. But again, you basically did the same thing. So look what it is, okay? This sentence really didn't help you. This probably, I can't really say this was the greatest way to start the sentence, the paragraph, because that's not what your focus is, essentially. So I would have liked to see this a little different, okay? Also, that wasn't even the focus of this, really, okay? So I think you could have just changed it. Yeah, I mean, you never talked about them being more efficient or cheaper anywhere in the paragraph. So I would have gotten rid of this, and I would have said that while machines can be very helpful in many jobs, they cannot replace humans in all jobs. So that, I think, would have been a better link between this paragraph and this paragraph, okay? Now, then what you did here is pretty much exactly what you did in the previous paragraph. So, example 1, example 2, example 3. Okay? So there are really no main ideas. So you needed to say a little more. You need to give us more kind of substance to this rather than just examples. Okay? Now, apart from that, you've got, example 1, example 2, and example 3, and there's not even like any link between them. All right? So it really just feels, like I said before, like a bulleted list, like example 1, example 2, example 3. And it doesn't read like a paragraph. All right? So that's so what I'm seeing here, Marina, in reading this essay so far and reading these 3 paragraphs so far, I'm seeing that task achievement is lacking, okay, because there's not enough topic development, and also coherence and cohesion, because there is no cohesion. There's no kind of links. You don't feel like your paragraph is a chain, okay? So think of the way a chain is composed of links which, are kind of attached to each other. That's not happening here. And so this is why you haven't gotten that score that you need, if this is how you're writing in the exam, okay? I need to say that. So if this were like an exam situation, yeah, that sounds pretty accurate to me, the score that you've been getting. All right, so let's move on. To conclude, comma, it is cost effective and wise to use machines. However, they should be chosen for the right job, and there should not be mixing between what a human can do and what a machine can do. Humans have always and will be superior to machines. Okay, fine. Now again here, you talked about cost effectiveness and wise. Here you talked about cheap and efficient. You never talked about that here though. All right, and that's one of the things that you could have talked about. So more machines are replacing humans in different occupations. So what you could have said is that, for example, machines are frequently used in positions that are very tedious for human beings, requiring lots of detail. And then you could have given me some examples, like, I don't know, like the bank teller thing. All right, and then you could have said, furthermore, machines are more accurate than humans in certain jobs. And then you could have given me something else, like, I don't know, one of these, okay? So that's how you should have done it. So it should have been like main idea and then the example for it, and then another main idea and then the example for it. And then all of this about it being cheaper and more efficient would have made sense as well. Okay? Or right, like when you're talking about the airport, the cheaper thing, you could have said that it's cheaper to have a machine check in people than it is to hire an airport employee. Okay? So that's the kind of stuff that you needed to have here, but you didn't. All right, so I hope that makes sense. I hope you understand what's happening with this essay and why you probably haven't been getting the score that you need. I do believe that you have another essay for us, so let's take a look at that one as well. Okay, so great. You've got a process diagram for us here. It is the process by which coffee beans become coffee. So let's see what you wrote here. All right, the image illustrates how coffee beans are produced. Well, yes and no. It's not just how coffee beans are produced, but how they are then processed to become, coffee sold in retail shops. Because if it was just how the coffee beans are produced, then it would have pretty much stopped here, right? So, yeah, I mean, you could have been a little more specific here. Anyway, let's see. Overall, the process of coffee production, I would have said here. Let's try it again. Overall, comma, the process of coffee production is complicated and long. It takes 10 steps from picking the beans from trees till getting it packed in jars. All right, that's really good. You did something that a lot of people have a hard time with. So I absolutely agree with your overview and the way you dealt with it. You started with the first step, you ended with the last step, and you also said how many steps there are. So that's a great way to do this. So good. Let's see. First, comma, coffee beans, well, not are freshly picked, but fresh coffee beans are picked by farmers, and then they are left under the heat of the sun to dry. Let's see. Okay, yeah. After that, they are roasted in an oven, then cooled rapidly at a very low temperature. That should be a full stop. Let's see. They're cooled rapidly at a low temperature. All right, it says first they roast and then cool them rapidly. Okay, so, all right, that's what it says, so fine. Full stop here. In the next step, comma, coffee beans are ground, not grinded, and then mixed with hot water. Okay. The mixture is then strained well to get all of the water out of the beans, and after straining, what is it? Do you mean they? Because it's beans, right? After straining, they are then frozen to a very low temperature. The frozen liquid is transferred into the grinder again and then dried using a large vacuum that dries out all the water of the beans. Finally, the fresh coffee beans are packed in jars of all sizes. But now, here you've kind of confused me. So, let's see. You freeze the mixture. Hold on a second. So, you've strained the mixture, right? So, it sounds to me like this liquid, we don't keep the liquid, we keep this, right? So, the beans are frozen, and then grind the frozen liquid. All right, it is rather confusing, isn't it? All right, I'm a little confused personally. So here when it says grind the frozen liquid, does it mean this bean mixture? I'm assuming so. I can't imagine it being anything else, but okay. Let's see. Frozen liquid. I think it's fine. I mean, I also think that the diagram is a little strange, but I think what you wrote is fine. I think you did a very nice job here. You explained everything really clearly. You've organized it well. It was, it's not a very long answer, but you've certainly gotten the most important points. So as far as your task 1 is concerned, I think you've done a very nice job here. Okay? Clear, you had all the elements that a good answer should have. So really no problems at all. What I want you to think about, though, is your task 2, okay? Because I did see a number of problems with that. So one thing that I think Marina would really help you would be to sign up for the online course. There is tons of information, really just very, very useful information on how to structure your essays, how to make sure that it's a coherent and a cohesive essay that is well developed. So I really want you to think about it. I know that you've taken the exam before. I know you haven't gotten the score you need. So see if it's something you can do. I really think that it will make the difference in your writing, okay? Because I think your task 1 here was lovely, but now we have to see what we can do to improve your task 2. All right? I hope we get to see you on the course. I think, like I said, it'll be really useful for you. So I wish you good luck, and I hope to see more of your writing in the future.